Hello everyone, thank you for taking the time to click on my video and see what this evening's ramblings are all about. I've gone for a bit more of a relaxed vibe this evening in my onesie, sitting on my sofa, snuggled with my cushion. I was just chilling actually. I was just in the flat watching a film, and I just thought I'd come on here and record something I've been thinking about doing for a while, and I want to help you get to know me a bit better. As you all know, I suffer with Generalised Anxiety Disorder, but that can vary from person to person. What that means and what that looks like is totally different for everyone. So what I wanted to do to help you get to know me and help you get to understand how I suffer and how I feel my anxiety, I wanted to share with you 10 things about me and 10 things about my anxiety that you may not know. So number one, I can't just calm down, I can't just relax, and I can't just turn it off. Sometimes when you're hyperventilating, or when you're having a panic attack, or when you're at the peak of your anxiety and someone says, just try and calm down, just try and chill, I can't. And I know it comes from the heart, and I know people mean well, but you can't just turn it off. You can't just turn the deep-rooted anxiety within me off. Number two, sometimes you can't see my anxiety. Sometimes I'll be feeling anxious beyond belief and nobody around me will have a clue. It's not always about trembling, it's not always about hyperventilating, it's not always about crying or screaming. Sometimes I'm feeling anxious and no one will have any idea. You've probably been with me if you know me, and it's likely that I've been hugely anxious while I've been with you at some point. I've got very good at hiding it. It's not necessarily always a visible illness. I've got very many visible traits. I've got very many visible side effects, if you like, or the way I can be, but not always. Number three, now a lot of you may not know this, but I was only actually diagnosed with generalised anxiety disorder last year, I think it was, beginning of last year. And I actually went for some cognitive behavioural therapy to try to battle it. I lived in Camden in London at the time, and the waiting list for the therapy was long, like months and months and months, and I felt at breaking point. And the only way I could get on the list quicker was to take part in an experiment, is that the right word? In a study, to see if there were some things they could do to help cognitive behavioural therapy, and to see if they did some things that could affect how people responded to it. So actually last year I went for several MRI scans to monitor my brain activity. As part of my CBT, I actually had electrolysis. And I actually had electrodes sort of attached just here, under my hair, on my scalp. It wasn't painful at all. And I went through several MRI scans to monitor it. I used to play mind games to see how I was responding to the treatment. And actually, scientifically, my anxiety improved. I played some games while I was in the MRI scanner, and they could see that actually the part of my brain, which is this bit along here, that suffers with the anxiety, the activity there actually did improve. So technically I got a bit better. Number four, my anxiety personally actually increases by 1,000,000 when I'm in love, which is a real shame. I guess at one point in my life made me think I'd never be able to have a partner and never be able to be in love. But when I get extra close to someone, my anxiety increases to compensate that. Number five, I have no idea why I'm anxious sometimes. Sometimes I'll know, even if it's a really stupid reason, or even if it's a really big, important reason. Sometimes I'll know, and sometimes I will have no idea. I can be sitting here on the sofa, watching TV, having a cup of coffee, looking out the window, and boom, the horrible butterflies hit for seemingly no reason, and I'll sit there and I'll try and analyse why the hell I might be feeling like that, or what might have caused it. But sometimes it really seems that it is absolutely nothing. Number six, I don't need advice and I don't need fixing. If you're with me and you see me having an anxiety attack, you don't even need to ask why I'm anxious necessarily. I don't need advice around that specific topic, because my anxiety isn't logical and my anxiety is lying to me at that point and won't hear reassurance, it won't hear truth. If you're ever with me and you think I'm suffering from anxiety, this may seem strange depending on who you are to me, but I really just need someone to hold my hand really, really tight and just tell me I'll be alright. Just breathe. Just tell me it will be alright. It's not right now, but it will be. That's kind of the support that I could really do with. Number 7, I analyse everything you say. If I know you, I've analysed something you've said before. I'm very sensitive. If you're a friend of mine, a family member of mine, you probably said something that I've taken the wrong way at some point, and I've thought you've hated me, or I thought, why have they been so horrible to me? I analyse everything everyone says. I think you've got ulterior motives. I think there's second meanings to it. I think there must be a sinister tone to something you're saying. So I'm sorry if you know me, but I've probably done that to something you've said at some point. Number 8, which kind of flows on really nicely. I know I'm being completely fucking ridiculous sometimes. Sometimes I can hear myself speak. Sometimes I can hear what I'm saying and I know it doesn't even make sense and I know it isn't true. But I still can't switch my anxiety off from it. So sometimes, trust me, when you think I'm being ridiculous, I think I am too. I know I am too. It's just hard to stop. Number 9, sometimes when I have a panic attack, I actually think I'm dying in that moment. When I'm sitting here feeling quite happy, having quite a chilled evening, I feel really stupid saying that. Sometimes when I'm having a panic attack, I actually think I'm going to die and that is my last moment. When I have a panic attack, if I'm standing up, I'll always get lower and lower and lower and lower till I'm like on the floor, I'm on my knees, or I'm laying down, or I'm being sick, or I'm shaking uncontrollably, and I think that's it. I think I'm never going to catch my breath again, and it's horrible. It's so scary. That's when the hand holding and the telling me it will be okay probably comes in handy. And number 10, and the final thing about me is that I am eternally grateful. I am so grateful to anyone that has ever helped me. If you've ever spoke to me about my anxiety and taken the time to ask if I'm okay, if you've ever given advice if I've asked for it, if you've ever held my hand, if you've ever supported me, if you've ever made me feel like I'm not a freak, if you've ever watched one of these videos, if you've ever given it a thumbs up and liked it, if you've ever commented on it, if you've ever been a friend and given a shit, I am so grateful. I can't even put into words how much it means to me to not feel alone and to feel the support from people. It's amazing actually, and it's amazing to be able to feel that I can be this open. If some people more than others, my boyfriend, I am eternally grateful to him. There's a couple of key friends who know who they are, who I could text at 3 a.m. crying and they would ring me and help me. I could not have spoken to them for 2 years and they would support me. Becca, that one's you. I'm eternally grateful to people that take the time to help me and people that take the time to support me, because I don't know where I'd be without you guys. I don't know if I'd be coping, and if it wasn't for my boyfriend, I probably wouldn't have even gone to get the CBT and probably wouldn't have reached out to get the help that I need. And I remember a big group of my friends, we were at a hen do, we were at a nice festival, and that's the moment I chose to open up and tell them I had anxiety and was getting therapy. I'm not really sure why I chose that setting, but I did, and they just listened and they nodded and asked questions and were supportive, and every time someone in my life responds like that, it means the world to me, and in a way it helps my anxiety and it helps me through it. So I am so grateful to everyone that just takes that time to hold my hand, to be supportive, to give a fucking shit. It means a lot to me. That was all anyway, just a quick one, just 10 things you may not know about my anxiety. Feel free to comment and share something that I might not know about your anxiety or any mental health that you suffer with. I'm really interested in how different people feel the same illness. Really interested to learn yeah, some other things to discover about other people. Yeah, so hopefully come back and I'll try and do one next week. I'm going to try and get a bit better and get some software to edit these videos so I don't have to try and do a perfect take and a perfect run through, and when I babble or make mistakes or my sentences don't make sense, I could perhaps edit something over the top of it, but at the minute I just talk at the phone. Thanks for taking the time to watch again. If you want to subscribe, get notifications every time I update a new one on here, that'd be brilliant. If you want to just hit the thumbs up button, that'd be really appreciated. Thanks everyone, bye.